Join me as you and I you take a journey to become better writers together and geek out.
Howdy ho, neighbors. It is I, Writ Ralph, with your shadow and your gnat, and we are here to get the late right done. Hi, guys. How you doing?
How are you doing? The last of the physical forms. You haven't become one with the avatar yet.
Join us.
I don't know, man. I like my avatar, but at the same time...
Listen. We didn't start the fire. It's just been burning.
Like I said, I like my avatar since it's a little TV, but... There you go. For 1 minute, everybody was an avatar.
See, he doesn't trust us, Lou.
If you throw Billy Joel up as your avatar, that would just be amazing.
Yes. Hey, let's go. Let's just name off like different Billy. Let's just talk in Billy Joel lyrics today.
Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China. Do you have any?
We didn't start the fire.
It's just been burning since the world's been turning.
Dude, man, I don't know what's going on, but there's like 10,000 Kickstarters going on at the same time.
Man, it's that end of the summer push. Everybody's ready. Get out there and get their books on the market.
And that's not even talking about the Kickstarters that haven't even started yet.
Listen, if they haven't started yet, then
Look,
you
man,
just gotta keep your eyes out for them.
Kickstarters and your unknown Kickstarters, but your unknown Kickstarters are the ones you gotta really think about.
Exactly. I know a couple of those unknown Kickstarters.
I know. I've got rumors of a couple of them.
Uh-oh.
I know. I won't say anything because it's an unknown.
But anyway, how you guys doing, man? You hanging in there?
Tired.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks. I went to that Staten Island con, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. It was relaxing. You know, you were outside, a nice breeze, beautiful sun.
This is just Ralph taking the copium, saying that Staten Island actually exists.
The rugged lands.
Wait, is that what I'm saying? I thought it was just writing a story. Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay,
it's true. I mean, have you ever even been there? I mean, come on, it's not a real place. It's a place.
I gotta admit, when I heard this thing wasn't Staten Island, I was like, oh, okay, Staten Island.
Listen, Staten Island is not real, but you know what is real? Our friend Bitsy and her book, Tsukime no Kenbunji.
I gotta admit, man, this thing looks beautiful. Look at this thing.
Dude, everything she does is awesome, man. This is a girl who's building a world here. Dude,
man, it's just amazing. And the art just gets more and more beautiful, and the stories are like breathtaking. And let's see, she is at $1,632. She needs to get to $2,900. She still has 17 days to go. That's really good. And she already has 40 backers.
Come on, boys, let's push her.
And she is tenacious. I mean, look, she kicks out Kickstarters every couple months, and they're each cooler than the last.
Oh, definitely.
Exactly.
All right, let's play the video and see what let's see if it plays.
Don't worry, I'm here. It should play.
初めて見たのは7歳でした. I was 7 when I first saw them. The Kimbujin, a skilled group of acrobats who travel the land of Tsukiyame, performing amazing sword dances. When you hear their drums coming toward the village, all manner of excitement breaks loose. They inspire, they ignite, and they build the love in our community. I'm Aiko Ishiyama, and this is my journey of how I became a Kimbujin and changed the world. Please join us in funding the next chapter of my journey, and together we will create something inspiring. To fund the artist, it will be a beautiful digital adventure. There's merch and more in the description below, a part of the Kickstarter add-ons after you check out. And if we make it to our first stretch goal, then we'll be able to make a floppy comic. How amazing would that be? Please join us. and travel to a land far away from ours and a planet all its own.
Wow. That was beautiful, breathtaking, and amazing.
Indeed.
So you guys better support because Bitsy does some great stuff, and as you can see there, she has a lot of plans going on. And it is a web book coming together, but at the same time, if they get to their goal, they get to make a pretty beautiful comic book, or floppy, like she called it.
Floppy?
That's what she said.
Okay.
Dude, I'm just always like amazed at the stuff she puts out. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more amazed at the rate at which she's able to produce it.
That's amazing. And of course, Kat has her Kickstarter going right now for the dancer.
Hey, let's go. Funded.
Oh, dude, yeah, funded. It's at 5,557. Has 271 backers to go. 271 backers. 14 days to go. Can you imagine if I had 271 backers to go?
Right.
And it's an amazing story about a dancer turned assassin, and it has a great hero's journey. And
we love our assassin dancers around here, you know.
Oh, definitely. But you know what it is? Speaking of Kadma, who's a dancer turned kung fu artist, it's a great combination.
Hey, Bruce Lee was a
ballet
instructor, famously.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
timing, precision, footwork.
You guys have completely lost me. What are we talking about?
I'm saying there's nothing funny about being able to kick a dude's head off. That's what we're saying.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah, Bruce Lee was
you can do a triple Lutz and just decapitate somebody.
Bruce Lee was a dancer first, turned into a kung fu artist. So we're talking about dancer assassins, and it's a great combination of things, especially when it comes to wushu.
Listen, all I know is that Meltrellis is a ballet dancer that has knives for feet, and she is cool.
Yes, she is. Let's see. Going down the line, of course, we have Lunar Smoke, who our pal here, Shadow Rabbit, has done a beautiful figure for.
Oh, man, I wish I knew.
Did you see that?
It just went up. Yep.
Pledged about. No, he set the goal at $100.
Yeah,
he set the goal at $100. He's already at $4,420. 147 backers. 7 days to go, and it's still going up.
Oh man, the Sheriff of the Moon.
Oh, and this thing is beautiful.
Wants all that smoke.
Let's play the video just to remind people what this looks like.
What I say is love. Just in space, make no sound. You better not get. Yeah, I say. You better not get too close. You feel the punch from your head to toe. You know you can't handle love this slow.
Yep. That's something people should be supporting, right? And if that doesn't help you support it, then as we look at all the beautiful work, as I scroll down, this thing is.
He's already got cosplayers. I mean, come
on. Cosplayers and
I love that
art.
So much. Yeah.
And this is just really well put together.
Wait, you need to keep going down.
Dude.
You need to keep going down.
He's really got his stuff together.
Keep going.
The interior looks great.
Hold on. We're going to get to my best part. There we are.
There we go. Wow. Shadow Rabbit figures. Dude, I can't believe you are part of another Kickstarter and you are doing your thing.
Hey man, I'm just like I said, I'm just happy to be part of someone else's dream,
Dude, you did a great job of putting this together. This looks fantastic.
Thanks, bro. Did anyone buy one?
That's a good question.
We don't have that sort of information, my friend.
Let's see.
But Lou, you're always in my dreams.
Aw.
Wait, so are you part of the $100 pledge? The Lunar Smoke action figure?
Oh yeah, I guess I am.
All right, so there's 2 backers on that one. There's 2 backers on that one.
I'm probably on.
You guys start getting on that, Lou.
Oh.
You got 2 backers.
The cosplay. Oh, this is a fantastic.
Well, I mean, what's better than 2 lunar smokes is probably 3.
True.
What if we make it 4?
I mean, I don't want to get greedy here, but you know.
Dude, this is just amazing. You know, he actually put this thing together very well. This is so different than the last book he did. You know, an original song. Whoa, dude, you see these stretch goals?
Dude, we're already there.
Yeah, we're already there.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Dude, that's awesome.
Oh my God, an audio book. Also, that's the next one.
There.
We're almost there.
And look, shot glasses.
Yo,
and you get a T-shirt at 10,000.
That one's a little bit further up.
At 100,000, she comes and draws a picture for you.
There's a naughty version.
Ooh.
No, that's just the spicy version. Can't you tell by the fire?
It's naughty.
Hey, wait! I see our next one.
Blade Shot.
I like that
you guys
one.
want to see Blade Shot next? Okay,
let's talk about Blade Shot.
All right, hold on. Of course, Enrique is part of Blade Shot. He's actually worked on a cover.
You could click it, Ralph. Just left click it. Left. You could have just left click it right there. You could have left click it.
No, I already have it set up over here.
You could have just left click it, Ralph.
What do I look like? A left clicker?
Yeah,
there we go.
On
Blade
a Mac.
Shot.
Huh?
Yeah, Blade Shot. Our friend Geekery has he's worked on a cover of Blade Shot. You know, if you guys go check it out, you'll see his cover. It looks like they're funded. Oh wow, look, they're funded. They're 6,171. They have 168 backers and 21 days to go, so they're in a good place.
Dude,
they're in a very good place.
Killing it.
All right, let's see what this video does.
Hi, my name is Ben Worrell, and today I'd like to introduce you all to Blade Shot, our brand new comic featuring high-flying action, hilarious comedy, and lots of moral lessons learned. Blade Shot is intended for kids of all ages to read with their parents, grandparents, or church group. Now, let's take a look at... Hello? Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm recording it right now. Yeah. Yeah. No. What? No. What? Mm-hmm. What? Yeah. 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 What? Really? Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I love you too. Okay, bye. Hi, my name is Ben Worrell. Today, I'd like to introduce you all to Blade Shot, a brand new comic featuring gratuitous violence, explicit sexual situations, and lots of unnecessary nudity. It's intended for mature readers only, and probably shouldn't even be read by anyone at all. Let's take a look at Blade Shot. Blade Shot tells the incredible story of Sadie Ferris, an ordinary college student whose strained relationship with her father is put to the test when he goes missing and leaves behind a powerful suit of transforming magical armor and a gun that shoots enchanted knives. And what are those knives good for? Killing monsters. Throughout her adventures, Sadie will encounter 6 unique kaiju tentacle monster enemies, each with its own special powers. Every one Sadie kills will cause her to transform and learn new abilities to aid in her quest to save her father. This 35-page premiere issue is stacked with action, gore, and nudity. So pick your favorite cover and strap on. What? Strap in for Blade Shot.
I gotta admit, that was really entertaining.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a pass, my guy.
I like his delivery.
Just gonna pass this one over.
Well, of course you're gonna pass this one over. This doesn't look like anything you like.
Listen, I just finished The Boys. All right, I don't need any more of this nonsense.
That's right. You didn't like The Boys. That one surprised the hell out of me. Wait. I need to say that a little more serious. That one surprised
my brother, Comic Talk Weekly, Phil, is in the house.
Hey, guys.
Miss you, my man.
Oh, man.
Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, Nat, I still love you, man, but you're not liking The Boys kind of hurt.
I actually finished everything. I finished
all
the whole 3 seasons.
Okay, that's different. I gotta admit that's different.
I saw 3 seasons. No, even when I was talking with you guys that I wasn't liking, I finished season 1.
True.
I mean, when you didn't like it by like the 3rd episode, I was like, yeah, you're not gonna like it.
What's funny is I actually like season 2, and then I ended up hating season 3 for like the first 5 episodes because they completely destroyed Homelander for the first 5 episodes of season 3. Like, how do you destroy your best villain that way?
Well,
that's because they don't want him to be a complete villain.
But they brought him back to what he was.
That's all it is. They don't want him to be a complete villain.
I mean, I definitely have some thoughts on some of the direction of it, but overall, I enjoyed it a lot. And I mean, I'm probably liked it. I'm liking it probably better than the comics in a lot of ways. You know, they kind of.
Oh no, it's 100 times better.
See, I do.
They kind of
resolve. Are not the first people that I've actually heard say that they like the show better than the comics.
The Boys comics is absolutely terrible.
Well, come on. But
there's no way around it. It's bad.
Dude.
Oh my god.
It's edgy for no reason.
I'm gonna throw Tyler Ham into the geek fire.
I thought you were gonna kick Nat out, and I was like, no, don't do that. I mean, I understand, but don't do it.
Oh my god.
Welcome, sir.
So Tyler, you're muted.
Yep, just unmuted.
There we go.
I was enjoying.
I didn't know if you knew that you were muted or not, and I was about to ask you, what did you think about The Boys, Tyler?
Actually, you know what? I actually really love that series. I thought it went a little off the rails in season 3.
Right.
The God, what was it called? The Herogasm episode.
Yeah.
Like
I thought they weren't going to do it.
No, and some parts are really funny, and like but there's also this like gratuitous for the sake of like potential shock value that I kind of was like, bleh. But overall, I mean, I really like the series quite a bit. I don't want to say any spoilers because I don't know if there's people listening that haven't watched season 3 or but I didn't think it was the best season, but I'm excited for season 4. I thought the very last scene of season 3 was pretty solid. So that was a decent setup, I thought, for season 4 for me. You didn't think so?
I'm going with Tyler on this. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, anytime Nat likes something, like Sonic the Hedgehog, we're always surprised. So, him not liking something is actually something per course.
What's funny is like I actually can divide up the diabolical episodes into ones I like and ones that should actually never have been greenlit to begin with.
The Aquafina one.
That one's absolutely who let that get out?
Wow.
Who thought that was even remotely good? It's not the animation's absolutely terrible. It doesn't even match with the own voices. Like there are periods where like they're talking and the lips aren't even moving. Like how do you actually let that go? There's so much quality issues with that one. Like forget the story. Like yeah, the story's bad, but like just quality control is garbage on that one.
Come on, Nat. Tell us how you feel.
Yeah.
Woo. All right, so now we'll get back to the lineup over here. So we're almost finished, and we can start talking to Tyler about Rest in Peace, which looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's see, Hardly Heroes. We know our friends from Hardly Heroes here. They have a great thing going. Their Kickstarter. Hey, go away. Their Kickstarter.
Shut up. Shut up.
Their Kickstarter is at $279. Their goal is 500. They have 8 backers. They got 25 days to go. And this is a comic book based on their D&D adventures, and that alone just gets my juices flowing. So let's see what this video brings us.
Four unlikely heroes will band together to save the world, despite their worst efforts. Watch their adventure unfold as they embark on an epic quest to defeat a great evil and try not to kill each other along the way. Watch them quarrel, watch them succeed, watch them fail. Join our 4 main characters, Harbeck, Shump, Theron, and Salazar. This isn't your grandfather's adventuring party. Follow along as they encounter awesome enemies and questionable moral situations in the fantasy story of Hardly Heroes. We hope you'll fall in love with our plucky cast of characters as much as we did role-playing as them. And maybe they'll remind you of your favorite group of murder hobos. Maybe they'll be your favorite. This winter, experience a tale inspired by our creative team's fantasy party, inspired by everyone's favorite tabletop RPG. The book opens with the illustrious bard Renaud narrating the group's first quest. The main characters find themselves trapped in a mountain cabin, seeking shelter from an unnatural snowstorm caused by what people refer to as the Arcane Calamity. Magic has reemerged after the events surrounding the calamity, which seems to have peculiar effects on certain regions of the Deboden Peninsula. The adventurers join forces to escort a humble traveling merchant named Amelie through one of these very areas, through the treacherous pass of Mount Duboda to the town of Grelin. Of course, they will come to find that these quests are never as simple as they appear. Unbeknownst to the party, they've stumbled into a rather large web of conspiracies. A powerful foe plots to unleash a dark being upon the world, and our characters happen to be the best man, dwarf, wood elf, and half-orc, half-gnome for the job. Follow along as they unravel the web of conspiracies and prevent this great evil from destroying the world. They aren't the heroes this world deserves, but they are the heroes this world needs. They are Hardly Heroes.
So, dudes, man, this looks fantastic. And we know what this does. It puts together the 5 issues that they've done already into a trade paperback. And that's why they went to Kickstarter to get this out to everybody. They're actually working on the 6th issue. And we're going to have the guys on at the last Wednesday of August. And then we're going to be talking about all sorts of geekery. And, of course, our D&D favorite book here.
Oh, very cool.
Oh my God, yeah, they're fantastic guys. The cover they have there is just iconic. I love it, and it just has this feel of D&D all over it.
Is one of them the artist as well?
I think so. I think I think one of them is the artist. Trying to remember. Shadow, do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I was going to add that I believe their DM. It's all made in honor because he passed away, so that's why they kind of came together with their friend group and played this game for a couple of years while he was undergoing treatment, and sadly he passed. But that's why this is like really important, like a passion piece for this friend group to get it out there.
What a great tribute.
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I love when people, you're seeing it more and more now, where people are actually taking their D&D adventures and actually turning it into a story. Or we know these guys that turned their game into a video game, an RPG, a '90s looking RPG. And it looks fantastic, and I just love this whole idea of putting this stuff together. And you all know that I make it no secret that D&D has helped me in my writing skills, and I feel like D&D is a very helpful tool for writers to take apart, because if you start off by creating your own characters, and it moves off to creating or playing in a universe, in somebody else's universe. Then you start to do your own stuff, and it's almost like the process of writing. You start here, and you get bigger and bigger and bigger, and as you learn, you start to encompass more and more things. Because one of the best things to do is to play in somebody else's sandbox, so that you can become better at the writing that you are going to want to do.
Yeah, fully agreed.
And it's funny. D&D has actually helped me explain writing to some people who are like, well, Ralph, I'm not a writer. And then, you go, well, you do D&D, you create your own character, you've done this and this and this. And they're like, well, that's different. I'm like, that's writing, bro.
It all comes from the same muse.
So we have one left, and of course, it's Mark Torres from the King from the Radio. His Kickstarter
is called Designated, and it's been a project 30 years in the making. I thought of this project back when I was in around high school, and we retouched up a lot of the artwork, and now we're trying to get it all published. And if we can get it completely funded, and maybe even a little bit more, you might be able to get some of the further issues, because the whole story is entirely complete. We have all the artwork finished, and most of it is just a little bit of retouch-ups from the classic era to which the story was originally set in. I believe Nathan Boo always likes to say that it is inspired by the timepiece of Stranger Things. I prefer saying it was created in the 80s, but it's a passion project that I have worked on for close to 30 years of my life, and I would greatly appreciate it if you can help support me in this endeavor. Also, check out It Came From the Radio every Wednesday, and we have a live show coming up next week, I believe.
Yeah, every Wednesday. Actually, I think they did their live show last Wednesday. So.
Oh, they did early this year. I mean, this month.
Well, it's always either the first week or the second week of whatever month it is, depending on I guess the calendar.
Huh. Okay.
Mark still gets a kick out of you doing his voice.
I know.
Then you have it. Designated is at 3,823, 32 backers, 12 days to go. Come on, people, let's help Designated get up there and make dreams come true, because that's what we like to do here. And like we always say here on the Bitten Apple, the best way to rise is to raise each other up. Because if you're raising each other up, then you're going to be rising to the top, and that's just how it works. So with that, we will go. Hi, Tyler Ham. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you.
Thank you for jumping into the geek fire over here a little while ago.
I love it.
Let's start this off right. Tell the people who you are, what you do, all the nice, beautiful things, and give them your elevator pitch.
Sure. My name's Tyler Ham. I'm a children's book writer, and I'm also in my day job as a creative director in the collectibles industry. So I spent several years in film, then went into toys, and then just I'd always kind of had an interest in writing, and so but I never really pursued it until I had kids of my own. And then I sort of dreamed up this kind of monster world that I started writing about. And book one, which you can see right there, is actually going to be published and on shelves October 5th.
And you can actually pre-order this right now, this week. I think this is the last week to do that, right? Or have your store actually deliver it, your comic store, your local comic store, deliver the book to the store once it's out.
Yeah, I think this is the last week. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the last week for comic stores to order it from Previews, who's our main distributor.
There you go.
But like a lot of independent stores are carrying it. Like Golden Apple Comics is one. The Things from Another World's carrying it. A couple other stores. If you just Google the title, a shocking number of stores it's kind of shown up on now, which is really cool to see. And so I don't know if you get your order in after that closes. I don't know how. I don't understand the distribution aspect as much. I barely understand
there's times where I've been able to get a book after the fact, and I'm like, okay, so do you get it? Is that the last time you can order it? Does something else happen? Are you ordering stuff before that because we told you to? Hey, this book looks interesting. You know, all that stuff. I'm gonna have to get a comic book store guy in here, and we're gonna have to talk this.
It would be interesting because I kind of feel like distributors will. That they'll sell you anything you want to buy.
Right.
So if you want to order this in September, they'll probably, I'm not sure when this actually goes to press, how long it takes from press to showing up in the mailbox. But they'll probably be taking orders until the last minute. I mean, at least I would hope. I would hope people are ordering it and would like to get it. So yeah, anything along those lines.
Exactly. So if they don't get it from the comic store, or the comic store can't get it, how else can they order
it? So you should be able to get it. So through comic stores, through Things from Another World. I'll probably be selling a couple. I'm going to buy copies for my site. Scout Comics tends to. This is being published by Black Caravan, which is an imprint of Scout Comics.
Right.
They tend to do a lot of direct sales on their website. So, and I haven't been told yet if that's actually going to be the case, but I assume so that's actually kind of their business model, is being a publisher and direct to consumer. So hopefully you'll be able to, at least if you want one and missed a couple windows, get it directly from Scout.
And so they can get it from you, they can get it from Scout. It sounds like you got a good deal going, and you told me you've been working on this for a while. Where did you get this idea from?
It was so long ago, I don't remember. I mean, when I look back on the first drafts, they're all dated when they were saved. The first drafts of this were early 2015, and I was always, as a kid, I love Halloween. As an adult, I love horror movies. But as a kid, kind of my favorite world to live in was that. Because I was for an adult that loves horror movies, I was actually like kind of a frightful child. Like things really scared me. Like I saw Child's Play by accident as a kid, and then like slept on my parents' floor for like 2 months. So like, but it was as a kid, I really loved what to call it. I just kind of call it like innocent horror, like where there's aspects of horror, but you feel safe. Like I read Bunnicula countless times. I loved. There was an old VHS tape that my video store used to rent out, and it was called Disney Scary Tales. And what it was just a collection of 6 sort of tangentially horror-related Disney shorts from.
I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, from the the Skeleton Dance is probably the oldest one. I think that's from the 20s, up through maybe the 40s or 50s. And so that was always a go-to for me. I love Disney's Ichabod Crane. Still watch it with my kids.
Definitely. Yeah.
Constantly.
That's one of those Halloween classics.
Yeah, it's up there with like the Great Pumpkin, exactly. And and of all things too, the Michael Jackson Thriller video was kind of one of my favorite.
You knew as soon as the radio station started playing that, you knew Halloween was coming.
Oh yeah, that was like you could smell it in the air, and then Thriller came. He's like the Mariah Carey of October.
Exactly. I have to admit, this does have that feel of those classic things you're talking about. It really feels like, I'm looking at one of those Halloween specials that we would watch when we're just mentioning. It has that feel. As I was looking through it and reading through it, I was like, oh, this feels, even though the material is what it is, it feels really heartwarming.
Yeah, thanks. I wanted it to be, well, I mean, so a bit of backstory. My oldest daughter, when she was little, just was really could not get her to sleep.
Right.
Like getting her to sleep was 90 minutes a night. She was one of those babies that didn't want to go, and so I just started reading her books. She loved books, and just book after book after book, but just multiple books a night. And after you kind of get to the point where you read so many kids books and you kind of go like, I could do this. And but then it was kind of like, well, what, I didn't want to be insincere. If I was like, I want to write a kid's book, but I want to do it about something I like, which is monsters.
Right.
But I also want it to be, because there's kind of that subgenre of like kids books for adults, so you kind of like slapsticky, ironically written. And I like the most famous one to be like Go the F to Sleep.
Yeah, I was thinking.
They got Samuel L. Jackson to narrate it, and so, but I still wanted it to be like, I wanted there to be heart, because it's like, what would I want my kids to get out of this book too? And so, how can I make monsters, lovable? I've always loved them, but what's gonna, Rest in Peace kind of has a story about like friendship and misunderstanding, and just wanting to spend more time together, but not being able to really express that.
Right.
Yeah. And so, I tried to kind of weave in, a message, like a real message, but still keep it spooky.
You can feel it, as I was going through it, I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
You have that grumpiness through it. And then all of a sudden he goes, wait a minute. And it's that he realizes something. It really sells. It does feel like I'm being like, as I was reading, it felt like somebody was reading this to me. I'm like, that's so cute.
Well, thank you. I kind of tried to write it almost kind of along the lines of when you watch a TV show, like a script, where it's got like the beginning, the introduction, the initial conflict, the resolution, and the finale. Because it was I didn't want it to just be a linear story where there's no conflict. The original on the first drafts, I'd actually kind of had that, where it was less conflict. It was just, the main character, the ghoul, goes about and gets all these visitors and gets mad, and then just himself realizes, come back. And that's when this was written. Originally, this was just written as a one-off. Right. And when I started kind of building that world, I kind of started having to go back and adding in little things that sort of lent itself to becoming a series.
Which is funny you say that, because our little friend Mike Drake was like, Ralph, do you know there's a couple of other parts to this? He's thinking about doing more with this. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to ask him about that, because I love the idea. I'm kind of like not telling everybody what he told me, because in case you keep certain things secret. But
no, that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk about it.
All right, dude. I was like, oh, there's 4 of them. I'm like, oh, I like this a lot.
Yeah. There's currently 4 in the lineup. I mean, hopefully enough people buy in like the first one where they'll want to keep going with the other ones. But book 2's written and illustrated. Book 3 is written and being illustrated now. Wow. And I'm on a sort of like a polishing draft of book 4. And they all kind of circle around different holidays. And how, how would monsters that are, supposed to just be this, shoeboxed into this one time a year, right. Like, how do monsters celebrate Valentine's Day? Or what happens if you're a monster, but like you secretly love Christmas, and it's like your little closeted dirty secret. And so it's that, and that's kind of where I was able to kind of bring in like themes of, just be yourself. Like, be yourself, because that's so important as a kid to know, like, just be yourself. That's all you can do. You be true to yourself, and that's the best way to go through life.
And it's one of the best messages to share with kids, because they're constantly being told otherwise. By society, by their friends, by it's being yourself is this bad thing, and the whole thing is, I feel like if the message were reinforced, like stuff like this, I think they would see it more where I should just be myself.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, my daughter, she's almost 10, but I mean, when she was 8, she'd come home from school and she was dealing with pressures that when I was a kid, I was a teenager. So kids are just forced to grow up so much faster, and especially with like the, TikTok era, and it's they get bombarded with so many more messages than even like my generation, your generation. We're just literally one generation back. Yeah. And these kids today are, hit with 10 times the media and messaging on a daily basis as we were. And so, you know, it forces them to grow up faster. And, you know, childhood's precious, you know, like that's why I think that's why we have nostalgia. I mean, it's just a precious time of life, and it should be enjoyed as a child for as long as you can.
I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like, stop worrying about growing up. Stop worrying about, just enjoy your childhood. You're not going to be here again. And when you're older, you're going to be thinking about this moment, these times. You know, I feel like the only people that don't have that nostalgia about it is the ones that have a tough time during this time period.
Yeah, I can absolutely. And but like as an adult, what I wouldn't give to just like, you know, have a sleepover with a bunch of friends and like pizza rolls and go to the video store. Like if I could just have a day where there's no worries.
Exactly.
You know, and it's they always say what they say, like that youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because it took me a long time to actually understand, you know, the concept of youth is wasted. Because then you know, as you get older, you're like, oh, you know, when you were younger, you're like, what the hell's that? As you get older, you're like, oh, if you understood what we understand now, you'd actually enjoy your childhood.
And that's the big irony. You know, as a kid, all you want to do is be grown up.
Exactly.
You know, for whatever reason, it's like I can buy candy whenever I want. I say that to my kids all the time. You know, like they come downstairs and they're like, "What happened to the Rice Krispie treats?" I'm like, "I ate them because I'm an adult." They're like, "Oh, being an adult's awesome." It's like it does have some benefits.
It does have its benefits, yeah. You know, there's things, you know, and those are the things that, this tough that now that I go, dude, it's great to be an adult, but at the same time, that innocence of being a kid, it was just a totally different time.
It's great, and kind of like writing about it in a way kind of helps me relive it.
Right.
Because as I'm writing these, I kind of get back into that. I can kind of feel what that was like again. You know, like feel that feeling of again, because I was such a fall kid. You know, and when you walk into third grade and the teacher has put all those, you know, paper bats and vampire heads up, you know, and then you go and get the I just packed it, but you know, the Ed Emberley books, like the one that had all the Halloween drawings in it, where you turn your thumbprint into a skeleton.
Yeah.
Like just those little traditions, and it kind of, you know, it very much draws me back, and so it's almost like it's sort of as close to like a nostalgic time machine as I can get.
You want to say something, Shadow?
Oh no, I agree with all that.
Okay.
It's hey, it's always the good old days though. So
yeah,
that's why it's important right now too. Because in 10 years, it's like, man, I was cool and I had it all back then.
Totally.
And it's funny because I feel like one of the lessons we forget as we become adults is that we're always harping on the holidays. We're always looking at them differently now because we're adults, and instead of enjoying the holiday, and that's the difference between when you were a kid and you're an adult, you actually enjoyed the holidays. And I feel like we're so busy trying to whatever that we don't enjoy the holiday, and then we don't realize till years later that those were actually golden times.
Yeah, it's like when every time I watch Christmas Vacation, I'm always just like, I would love. It looks horrible, but at the same time, like I would kill to have a Christmas like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, where everyone's 4 people per bedroom, and
because it doesn't happen much now. You know,
never.
It's like
never
you were saying, it's like those days when you just have your friends over to sleep over. You know, those.
Yeah.
And again, you know, like I've said it before to a lot of people, because you know they harp on the holidays. They like they're anti-holiday people, and I'm like, dude, just enjoy the holiday. Stop worrying about other people or what the holiday's supposed to be. You know, if you stop worrying about what it's supposed to be and enjoy what it is, you'd have a better time.
I mean, if I can figure out a way to make monsters enjoy them.
Exactly.
Non-monsters should have no problem
enjoying it. We should be enjoying it easily.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like if a wolf man can enjoy a summer day in the sand, you know, anyone can.
See, the kid agrees.
See, yeah, he agrees.
I'm pretty sure that was a no.
Oh man. No, it doesn't. You don't agree?
I think that's a no.
Yeah, you gotta get it straight from the source.
Oh man. So besides this, are you working on something else?
I have so this series is sort of my main focus right now.
Right.
I have another book that I'm trying to find a home for. That's sort of so one of the I learned a lot about sort of traditional publishing, kind of going through this adventure for so long. And so like two big things that were difficult for these books particularly were publishers seem to not want to do holiday books because of limited shelf time, and I write in rhyme, sort of in prose, and that becomes difficult because if they ever need to translate it into a foreign language, there's not a clean translation. And but that's just I just enjoy the puzzle of writing in rhyme, and it's also a really good way to self-regulate. In kids' books, it's sort of like a less words is more.
Yeah.
And when you can kind of sing the lyrics, as you're writing them, I always try to kind of, as I'm reading them, I try to kind of pretend it's a song.
Right.
And if I kind of choke on it, if there's a beat that's out, I'll find a word with a symbol more or symbol less, pull out two words, just to try to get like a beat. You want like a kind of a nice good flow. Canter going into it. Yeah. But again, like that's something that for that reason, translations kind of make it and also it's easy to skip up. That's a problem too with rhyme, because if you're reading it out loud, the second you hiccup, it kind of pulls you out of the story.
Yeah. And
so you need to have sort of a clean, again, it's almost like a rhythmic, you could pretend you're writing a song. And so but I do have another book that is written in, it's also kind of scary themed. It's written in rhyme, but it's actually an evergreen book. So it's sort of just, it's more about like a large scale childhood fears.
Right.
Not so much, it's not monster based. The actual main character is a human child, and it's sort of just about the things that used to scare you at night that really weren't scary, like dark hallways or
the clothes in the corner.
Yeah, like radiator sounds, house creaks, things like that. But when you're a kid, it's the most terrifying thing ever. But if you just turn the lights on, you realize it's nothing.
Yeah.
And so trying to find a home for that. I'm not really sure.
Great idea.
Yeah, thank you. I actually really, I really like that book. And again, when I was shopping it, I had no luck with it. But hopefully, if these do well, someone will take a little interest in it.
It's funny though, because they say that that they don't like the holiday books, but at the same time, some of the books that we know till this day are the books that are holiday based. We know them very well, so it kind of bugs me out. And I understand the shelf life of it, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like name a bunch of books that you had growing up. Polar Express, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. There's plenty of holiday books, and I think why you do remember them is because a good example would be like, you probably remember the Garfield Halloween special.
Always.
But like, you probably can't specifically pick out an episode of Garfield and Friends.
That's true.
Because Garfield and Friends was on every Saturday.
Yeah.
But the special is what made it special. Like,
exactly.
You look forward to it, and like, generally speaking, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, it's a book I only got to read at Christmas because it went in our Christmas decoration box.
Right.
And so there's like, that's what makes that memory. It's the same reason why I recall A Great Pumpkin so fondly, because not like now when everything's instant, but when we were kids, it's like if you weren't watching, I think it was whatever ABC or CBS, at 7:30 on
specials,
October 17th.
Exactly.
Like, it was a whole other year before you got to see A Great Pumpkin.
But it was an event,
Yeah,
like they knew it was an event.
Bumpers.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Totally. Yeah, the TV Guide had a big, picture
exactly.
of it. It was a big deal.
But it's so funny because on that note, people are digesting holiday stuff during non-holiday moments. So it still bugs me out that they're saying, well, it's a holiday book, but I'm like, okay, but people are just digesting. Like, I know friends who watch The Nightmare Before Christmas all year round. I have friends. They watch or they see or they read this stuff all year round. It doesn't feel. It's not like before where it would stay in one place. Now it's like, oh, dude, I want a Christmas song. I'm gonna play a Christmas song.
Totally. My kids and I 6 years ago we started doing Summerween celebrations, and so we just pick a day in the middle of the summer and just fill it with Halloween activities. Except we carve watermelons, but we still do like the Great Pumpkin and Disney's Ichabod, and we just do kind of Halloween themed crafts. And so, not a lot of people do that, but I was kind of shocked. Like when you Google Summerween, more people kind of do it than I thought. Like this year, I had shirts printed up for us. So we had like the first year ever, we had official Summerween 2022 shirts. And like we went to we did it kind of late this summer, so it was kind of cool though because we got to go to like take a road trip to the Spirit Halloween store and kind of add some real Halloween
now, yeah. See, but that's the funny thing. Like you're saying, like I know that Summerween has become a bigger deal than it was before because you see a lot of people on social media already talking about Halloween in August because they're trying to usurp Christmas.
Yeah. Like the Halloween season, it kind of does start in August now.
Yeah.
Like the monster cereals come out in August. Michael's puts out its Halloween decorations in August, and then October 2nd they have Christmas out. But it's starting to, I think, culturally, just because it's such a fun holiday. Like everyone loves it, and especially like our generation. And like you kind of want to stretch it out. Why not stretch Halloween out for 2 months?
Yeah. Dude, if we're gonna stretch out Christmas, we need to stretch out Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Christmas starts, the day after Thanksgiving to most people. You know what I mean? Then it's just Christmas season. So
Christmas starting Christmas as early as July because they do Christmas in July, and then it just railroads everything else after.
No, totally. No, I remember when COVID started, a bunch of people were just putting Christmas trees up randomly. Did that trend ever happen around you?
Oh yeah, definitely. They were, because people needed some kind of hope, and they were trying to just usurp the COVID.
Have some joy and fun.
Exactly.
So holidays are essentially evergreen, and I had the same argument too. But my argument with it was like, but what if you can sell a year's worth of books in a month?
Yeah.
Because like that's when people come in and they want a Halloween book or a Christmas book or a Easter book or
Yeah, that's definite.
So
completely.
And I have to say I admire everyone who puts a book or just any paper bound item, whether it's a graphic novel, book, fanzine, anyone who does that through Kickstarter. Because I didn't have the guts for that. I mean that's I've just heard that is such a stressful and can be such a scary process.
Yeah.
So anyone who's willing to do that, I just give a round of applause to. Sending out hundreds of manuscripts and never hearing back is one type of stress, but Kickstarter seems like a whole other.
Oh, dude, man, if everything goes well, even then it's stressful. But then if your Kickstarter stalls and nothing's happening, that's a heart attack.
I can only imagine. I said I just stayed away from it, and again, I mean, in the end, I don't know what's harder. 7 years of maybes and no's, or 30 days of kickstarting. But I still, I don't.
All I know is that the only time Kickstarter people are relaxed is when it funds, and you can't even relax that much because stuff can happen.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's why when we see it funds, we go, all right, it's funded, but people, come on, let's keep pushing forward because we they need to get to a certain place. Or like I like to say to people all the time, what you want to do is make sure the Kickstarter doubles its money because that's when they're a little more relaxed. That doesn't. And then, again, Kickstarter doesn't mean you make a profit. Kickstarter just means you make your book.
No, I've known a couple people who kind of did the math wrong and ended up out of pocketing a bunch, and and that's what always made me nervous because I'm not the math guy,
I feel you. I'm not the math guy either.
Yeah, I'd be the guy who had a successful Kickstarter and then went broke afterwards, doing the fulfillments.
Yeah, because and again, like that's all just trying to get the work out there. But once you get the work out there, then the real work begins, because that's when you're trying to get it to more hands and more hands, and then it becomes, maybe I can make some money.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I probably spent more hours trying to market this book than it took me to write it.
Yeah,
it's kind of shocking. I didn't see that coming, and especially considering if you add all the hours of preparing submissions to publishers, to agents, for a while it was one of my friends, sort of when I was in a lull with Rest in Peace, he turned it into a script. He was trying to get into screenwriting. And he started submitting it to short screenplay competitions, and it started winning. And so then I started kind of trying to push it, like, oh, maybe maybe I can get this as an animated series or a short or something. And so I started kind of chasing those angles.
Screams animated short. It does. It screams it.
We were really close. I was so close. There was a really cool production company who wanted to translate it, and they're going to use like Muppet style puppets. And I was so excited because that sounded awesome. Like just of all things to do, like just have, but like a Muppet version of my story. And then COVID happened, and we just it all just kind of dropped out. But that was the other thing with it. Like, this book has had a lot of close calls over the years, and to actually see it and being able to order it now is I don't even think I actually believe it's happening still.
You know how it is. Until you have it in your hand, that's when when you have it in your hand. And until it's there, you're like, somebody's gonna do something, and I'm not gonna get this.
Yeah, no, I have like this copy that I.
And that must be. Hold on, I'll put you up.
Yeah, it's my printed out copy that I kind of went through and.
Oh, so cute.
Actually, of course, I picked the one page that I didn't write anything on, but just silly things where I'd done, find punctuation errors and needed to do an end quotes and, editing out, edit out this highlight on the blob character's nose, just stuff like that. And I took this to my daughter's class, her fourth grade class. They had me come in and they wanted me to read it in front of the class. And I swear that one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life is just sitting in front of 25 9 and 10-year-olds and kind of like exposing your baby to them and then waiting for feedback. I mean, I was sweating, I was turning red, and I mean, like I'm not like a thrill seeker, but I've done some like adventurous things in my life, but like this, that made me so nervous.
And dude, kids are so honest. I mean,
that's what made me so nervous. just waiting for the brutal honesty. And oddly enough, and it was very well received. And a couple kids came up to me afterwards, and they were like, I want to be a kid book writer too. Like, this is really cool. Like, thanks for doing that. And it's like, oh my god, like, thank you so much.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, the fact that someone, may have gotten something out of that. And
exactly.
This little girl went home and wrote a draft of the book she kind of had spinning around in her head.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. I completely understand when my daughter starts to do like, well, I'm gonna make my own comic book, and I'm gonna do this and this and this, and then she shows it to me, and I'm like, that looks good. Okay, no problem. And it always bugs me out because I'm like, okay, I thought you weren't interested in anything I was doing.
No, totally.
Oh my god.
And it's that innocence of the stories. Like my same daughter comes up with some amazing stories. She'll take a writing cue and she'll just go. And it's like just what imagination can do when it hasn't kind of been beaten down for 30 years.
Unbridled imagination.
It's spectacular. Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking, because I started writing from a very young age, and I look back at that stuff, and that stuff is unbridled imagination, and I'm like, I don't think I can get away with that now.
Yeah, but it's like how can you tap into it? You know, like how can I just create something absurd?
Yeah.
You know, like the TV show, which we're talking about Summerween, you know, like Gravity Falls on Disney Channel, just like an unbridled imagination show, like that. Who I can't remember the name of the guy who created that, but like that guy tapped into something in that childhood brain and executed it beautifully. You know, and every once in a while you kind of hit that like lightning strikes. That old show on Nickelodeon, The Adventures of Pete and Pete, always did that for me too.
Oh yeah.
That show really hits like this is what it's like to be a child, and that's all I want to do, you know, because that's it's entertaining. I mean, I'd love to write, you know, an adult based horror book one day, you know, but I'm just getting so much just kind of pure joy out of doing this.
Yeah.
Like this, I kind of want to just tread in these waters for a while.
I can tell because, you know, if the next book you're working on has a similar concept to this, yet at the same time it's really different. You know, that's what we do as writers. We're like, okay, here's the water. Let's see what else we're doing here. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to build a world around this. That's sort of the end goal. And with 4 books, hopefully I'll be able to do that. You know, I would love to do. I mean, if I could do 8, 10 books, you know, I kind of. What's really cool about Black Caravan and Scout is that they've been really supportive about like, hey, you know, do you want a book 5? Show us book 5. You know, when I do a book 6, but, you know, do a book 6, and which is really cool because it's interesting working in that creator-owned environment, because you know, traditionally with a kid's book, if you went to a big publisher, like they illustrate it for you, which is kind of, I mean, like I can see how that would be kind of almost take over nice.
The book, and your process kind of gets
it kind of gets lost in there. And and with this, I mean, granted, I didn't illustrate this myself, but I found the illustrator, worked really closely with her.
Part of the whole,
and she's awesome. And now art, that we're on book 3, it's funny seeing how much she's also grown into the characters, you know. And so like the second book, the art feels, I don't know what the right word would be, almost more organic than this book, because like she's lived with them in this book, and by book 2 they're old friends, and she just sent me some cover sketches for book 3, and I'm like, okay, like you've got this. I didn't need to direct her much in the first place, but like she can almost read my mind at this point.
You're beginning to see the flow of it, you know, and that's one of the good things about when you work with one artist. You know, you both grow, and the property grows.
Yeah, and I like to give her a lot of freedom, because being an artist myself, like there's nothing that kills, in my opinion, kills an artist's creativity more than being over directed.
Yeah.
And but like we'll iterate in things, but gosh, I kind of forgot where I was going with that point.
Well, you know, we can take this segue and go, what's the artist's name?
Well, she has a company, and she goes by it's South America. It's Virilis Illustra.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, it's her and a friend of hers.
Yeah, because this artist is just fantastic. It's right. Well, I know it's right down my alley, because I love all this haunted, supernatural type stuff, even when it's cutesy, because, you know, it's just, you know, I these are the same waters I like diving myself into myself. You know, I find my stories have a supernatural feel to them. So I completely understand.
I kind of wanted like a hint of like a retro vibe to it. And I think she nailed it. That was actually the point I was getting at before I long-windedly drifted, was that it was nice with this creator-owned things to be able to have, you know, more control over how it does look, you know, because otherwise, you know, big publishers, you kind of give them manuscript, they get it illustrated. I've known some people who kind of just don't even see their own book until it's done.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's no input from the artist. And again, you know, she was great. We talked a couple times, a couple pages I had real specific ideas on, but it's wonderful. Like I feel, you know, definitely like it's more the story I set out to tell.
And that's a good thing. And one of the things we know, especially from all the creative teams we see, is that once you gel with that artist, it's a good thing. The relationship between the writer and the artist, whether it's comic book or whatever it is really important, because that actually showcases in the book itself.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's I was kind of joking with her the other day when I sent her over. I was like, please stay with me. I hope you're not sick of drawing these, because we hopefully have at least 2 more. I don't think I could click over to someone else so easily. And
especially since you've already seen that she understands the world, and that's important.
Yeah, she seems to like doing it. We really like working together. So hopefully, we'll at least get through 4 of these.
That's one of the things I always tell people, like, dude, if you're working on something, comic book, whatever, make sure you have a good relationship with your writer, your artist, whatever the dynamic is, because if you don't, it's going to be a difficult project, or it's not going to come across.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trust relationship.
Yeah,
you have to be able to. I mean, I've been an art director and creative director for a while now, and I've always done. That's kind of how I've always worked. Hire artists you trust, and then just leave them alone, because that's where you get the best work.
Exactly.
Occasionally, in my manuscripts, I'll throw an illustrator note here or there, but she gets it, and I trust her.
Yeah, because it's that relationship with the writer and the artist. I feel like, especially when it comes to comics, the team creates the book. Especially when the first creating the book, or the characters first coming out. What makes that character who they are is your writer and your artist, because the artist is bringing to life what the writer sees, or if it, or the writer's bringing to life what the artist has done, and that's the relationship that's there,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. And because a lot of people like to say, well, who created this or who created that? I'm like, well, so and so created it, but if it wasn't for that artist, then that life wouldn't be in that book.
Yeah, it's the whole like Bob Kane, Bill Finger.
Exactly. Because they want to pull them apart, and I'm like, no, you need the team.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a recipe.
Same thing with Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. You need the team, because they like to go, well, Steve did all the work. I'm like, yeah, but Stan was there influencing certain things. If it wasn't for the team.
Well, it's funny too, because it's kind of like Steve did all the work, but Stan kind of gets all the credit. Just like with Batman, like Bill Finger did. I mean, I won't say all the work, but
he put certain things together. Yeah,
he did a lot of the important part. Yet, up until just a couple of years ago, really, no one outside of, I mean, even a lot of people in the comic collecting field kind of didn't know Bill Finger's name, and it's just Bob Kane was a better marketer. Just like Stan Lee. Like Stan Lee was great at marketing Stan Lee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the Jack Kirby's and the Steve Ditkos kind of get a little forgotten. I mean, in mainstream, as comic lovers know who they are, but it's whoever writes their name biggest. The John Hancock theory, I guess.
Definitely.
Who's cool with that is I just watched the 25th anniversary of South Park. Trey Parker and Matt Stone have always been really cool. It's like, Trey basically does a lot, but he's never been like, he's like, without my partner, this wouldn't happen. Even if it's just a sounding board to all the crazy stuff he wants to get done. It's like there's an accepted camaraderie, and it's nice to see. I think those guys are, doing it the right way.
Well, and that's probably why they've been able to work together for 25 years, too. There's no, they don't seem to have, and I mean, I don't.
I don't know them at all. They saw the warning signs of, Stan Lee and Kirby's.
Sure, but they don't seem to have ego about each other, and there doesn't seem to be. They kind of have that understanding that which way is it Trey that does all the work, or is it Matt? I remember in that 5 Days to Air special they did, one was just like so good. I remember one of them was like, yeah, he does 95% of it, and I just kind of hang around and laugh at his jokes.
which I don't know if that's true or not, but still,
no, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure they're kind of playing that up. But Yeah. But again, they've had this humongous success for 25 years now, and not to mention like all their success in Broadway now and all these places where
and that's the whole thing. It's not just South Park. They Broadway and they've done a bunch of other things, and that's all done well.
Yeah, some just random crazy movies, and I mean they are a great team. Like showing up in dresses at the Academy Awards together.
What always struck me about South Park, though, that's different, that I think you were talking about earlier, is it's got the moral compass, and even if it's through absurdity, South Park goes, over the top with some of the situations, or if it's with monsters learning a lesson, it's got it's got life lessons in there somewheres that doesn't have to just be spelled out for you. It's you empathize with something, and hopefully makes you a rounder person.
Yeah, it's got heart. Like underneath all the, I don't know what you'd explain. I don't want to say crudity because that sounds so like just prudish, but you know what I mean. Like
inside all the fun. It's heart.
Yeah, like there's all the heart, but like you can disguise heart under so many different things.
Yeah,
like I remember being in college when the Spirit of Christmas short was kind of like floating around the internet, and my friends were like, "Dude, you got to see this." We were all film majors, and it was like when super slow early internet days. It took like 45 minutes to download it, and you just watch it over and over and over because it was just if you could find it, and then the download, and then it was like 38K a second, just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it shows up. It's like this big, and it's 12 frames a second. But just like thinking, like I'm sitting there thinking, like, comedy will never get better than this. Like this is a new high bar for animated comedy.
Completely.
I've seen the Mona Lisa.
Exactly. Like we've arrived. Like we might as well just give up because we'll never be able to make something this good.
That was Santa Claus versus Jesus, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I still remember that thing. It's still fresh in my head. That's how good it was.
It was so good.
Oh
and there was just nothing else like it.
No.
And then those are, but I mean, it was sort of that same phenomenon that I remember feeling like when The Simpsons became a show.
Same thing.
And you're just like, for that time, you're like, whoa, this is so edgy. And like when Ren and Stimpy became a cartoon, and that felt so edgy.
Yeah.
And now you have like Rick and Morty. And
which is amazing.
Which is so funny.
It took me a while to get on board with it, and then I was like, oh wait, no, this is art.
I was on board with it like a minute and a half into episode 1. It was one of those shows where one of my younger brother's friends was like, "Have you seen Rick and Morty?" I was like, "Never heard of it." So I went home and watched it, and I was like, "Oh God, yeah, I love this." Like, let's go.
It was being championed by people whose opinion on the world I could hardly stand, and I was like, "I'm not going to watch that." Damn, I missed out on a lot.
Isn't that funny how much that'll affect you?
I know, right? I'm less caught up in that now. So I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'll watch anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, funny's funny. Like, I don't care if he tells me to watch it. Like, if something's funny, funny surpasses all of it as far as I'm concerned.
And that is an enlightened worldview, sir.
Thanks. I'm trying to speak enlightened over my love of Letterkenny. So.
Hey, laughter is the last thing that escapes
balancing the scales.
Right? The universal language.
Oh yeah, laughter can change things, man.
Absolutely.
It can make sick people feel better. It can make angry people happier. It can make sad people break a smile. It's just an amazing thing, laughter.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that even like they've done so many studies about what happens when you laugh, like what happens in your body, and it's just all good.
Yep.
Like everyone should laugh more.
I completely agree. I think we're also again stuck in being whatever we have to be, or being what we're supposed to be, or doing what we're supposed to do, that we just are forgetting to live life.
Every time I laugh, I feel the void of emptiness inside me slowly growing more and more as my humanity slips away. Knowing every day that this is not true emotion, but rather the empty hollowness of the synapses in my brain reacting to something called joy that really does not exist deep down.
I have a villain who completely
You've been reading your Nietzsche, huh?
I was just about to drop Nietzsche.
Which anime were you watching that was dropping Nietzsche? That Ghost in the Shell or something?
The Boys.
I knew he was gonna bring it back to the boys.
Don't be pooping on Garth and Derek, man. Those guys are awesome.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Anyone watch Sandman yet?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Haven't had a chance.
Oh, okay. All right, then I'll keep my mouth.
Have you seen any of it, Shadow?
Bro, I've been dealing with
oh yeah, the sick kids.
With sick kids for all week, so I watched the whole thing. I was like,
oh okay.
Oh man, I watched it in one sitting. You kidding me?
Dude, all I've been hearing is good things about it. So
I heard it's great.
I was down on Netflix, but Sandman picked me back up.
Well, there you go. That says a lot.
Yeah, I've heard really, really good things about it. And there's kind of like a lot of good things to watch. I feel like right now. And so it's hard to kind of like balance them out. But I really am excited to check that out.
Yeah, I hope you like it. Like I said, I mean Netflix. I wasn't digging a couple of the hype things of late, but yeah, Sandman I was really into.
Because they're saying it's a great translation to the comics. That's what I thought. All right.
I really want to watch Bastard,
it's like the translation.
I really want to watch Bastard, but
Bastard?
Yeah. That one was on my list for a little bit, but I need some recovery time for a moment before I go back into that edgy field.
Need something with laughter, my man.
Yeah, go find something funny.
Listen, there's no Konosuba coming out yet. I don't think there's any comedy right now.
It's funny how sometimes like you really just need to fill that bucket back up though. Like you'll watch like 2 or 3 really dark series in a row.
Oh yeah.
You're just like I just want to put 40-Year-Old Virgin on. Like, like I need to feel something like outside of like paranoia and depression for a little while.
But the thing is, if I go into slice of life, then I'm gonna like go really back into depression. I don't want to go back into depression, man.
Yeah,
nobody said anything about slice of life.
No, 15th anniversary of Superbad. Turn that on.
I don't like Superbad.
Yeah,
you don't like Superbad? Man, get out of here! Come on. Now I know you're just.
What part of Matt doesn't like anything?
Tony's out. You got to be super contrarian tonight.
like it's just okay. I don't get all the hype about it. It's just
I can't believe it's 15 years old.
I can't.
Dude, man, half the stuff they keep telling me the age of. I'm like, what?
Oh god, I hate anniversary editions now. Like all those DVD and Blu-ray companies, they're like it's the 40th anniversary of the thing this year. You're like, oh. Like today, someone was pointing out that Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary action figures are coming out. And it's like how?
You're a toy maker, right? Let's make ones where they've got like a walking stick, like big glasses on and stuff. That'd just be a
toy of me. It wouldn't be any fun. It'd just be like a toy that like complains about things hurting for no reason.
I mean, here's another scary one.
Legend of Zelda scratch collars on.
Legend of Zelda is 36 years old.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
What's another one that just had a big anniversary? I think Monster Squad. I think is having its 35th anniversary this year. And like
Mario is 41.
That's crazy. I went to the Monster Squad 25th anniversary screening.
Whoa.
And that doesn't feel like it was 10 years ago, much less like my grandpa taking me to the theater 35 years ago to see that thing.
Wow. Your grandpa took you? That's cool, man.
Yeah, he took me to see that and Howard the Duck.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
That's great.
Ooh. We just passed the anniversary for Sonic the Hedgehog, 35 years old.
Wow.
Oh, when was I
feel like Matt's just poking the bear now.
Yeah, no. I shouldn't have got him started.
That's crazy. Because I worked at Sega for a while, and I think it was during Sonic's. When was that? It was another big anniversary. Now I can't remember which one it is. But he's 35 now.
Yeah.
It must have been 25, somewhere around there.
Wow. Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you said that Nat said 35 because I'm thinking back to what you're thinking back to, which is 25, 20, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, what? Yeah,
that's like so someone. There was a meme I read the other day where it's like when someone says 20 years ago and you think, oh yeah, 1980.
Yeah.
But like what they mean is 2002.
Exactly. Dude, I was just about to say that. To me, 20 years ago was 19.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
20 years ago will always be 1980. But now, like, you go in the liquor store and it's like if you were born before this date in 2002, you can't.
That's surprising.
We're at the point where they look at your ID, and if you have a 19, they're basically like, yeah, sure, here you go. Whatever. They don't even check the rest.
That's all they look at now.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, you're still getting. You must have aged really well if you're getting people asking for your IDs. Now I feel like I haven't been carded in like 15 years.
I have been carded, but not for like alcohol. I've been carded for entries, like entry into locations.
Yeah, he's completely true. That we've gone into some places and like, are you old enough to get in here?
The comic community gets around to some pretty.
Meanwhile, if I ever want like alcohol, they're just like, yeah, sure, go take whatever you want.
Well, it's like I turned 21 24 years ago.
Ooh.
It's so
that hurts.
Math is terrible. It hurts so bad.
Yeah, math is BS. I think we can all agree on that.
That's why I can't do a Kickstarter. It's just because it hurts. It's not my forte.
Oh. So, dude, are you gonna hit the comic stores up since your book is in the comic stores, and maybe do like signings or like read the book? Because I know a lot of comic stores do stuff with the community. Like they'll have the kids come in and you can do like a reading of your book. I feel like there's a lot of stuff you can work with there.
I'm really trying to do that. We have two really cool local comic stores. So I live in a part of Oregon called Bend, and so we're kind of like Portland, like not that close, but Bend has Bend and the adjoining town is Redmond, and Redmond has a really cool, like super supportive comic store. I'm talking to the owner of that, and there's a really great book comic store in town called Pegasus Books.
Nice.
And like the guy who owns that store is also an author, so like he gets it, and like I might come in, we're trying to work out something where I can at least come in and sign some copies, if not do like a signing. I'd like to go and do some readings at some of the local schools. There's another bookstore here that does kids hour, and so I'm going to try to find get into one of like the kids reading hours, just because it was so. After the initial nerve-wrackingness of reading it to 9 and 10-year-olds,
right,
and seeing because I kind of thought they were going to be a little old for the book. Like I'd always kind of pictured this book being more like I don't know, kind of you can start whenever. Like I was reading books to my daughter when she was 4 months old. But I kind of thought like 7 kind of peaked out at the top of the age for this.
I can see what you're saying. What you're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the 9 and 10-year-olds kind of loved it, and they're all chapter readers and things. But kids love monsters, and a lot of the kids now, graphic novels are so prevalent.
Yeah,
even in school now, like my daughter gets credit for reading graphic novels, which is something that's super cool. Like something I wished my teachers were that open-minded when I was a kid.
And when we were like, you reading a what? You reading a what? Go read a real book.
Oh yeah, like if you could have gotten school credit for like showing up and reading Watchmen, like that'd been great. God. Yeah, or like I mean, The Killing Joke is not really like a full graphic novel, but I mean, but but like when you go back and reread those, they're sophisticated writing. They're good stories. For Batman Year One, or the Dark Knight, all the Frank Miller stuff.
But even the older stuff, like I always joke around that my introduction to a lot of the vocabulary that I started to use later on was Fantastic Four, because they were nuclear dynamic this, and they would have those words in there that I have to go look for and go, what the heck is this stuff? And actually comic books got me into reading more than I was already, because it just like broadens the horizons between vocabulary words and everything.
Yeah, like my daughter loves like the Babysitters Club.
Sure.
Yeah, so all those have been translated into graphic novel, and like she won't pick up the chapter book, but she'll burn through the graphic novel. So she's kind of read them all, but in graphic novel form. And there's just all sorts of like her school library has a ton of graphic novels, and it's super cool. She loves them, and like as a parent, I'm just like just happy she's reading anything. I mean, she reads. She's a really good good strong reader, loves reading, but she's like her dad. She loves having pictures next to the words. So
I agree. I like pictures next to the
falter.
Words. Yeah. I can read the regular books, but I would rather have some pictures.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's one picture in the chapter.
I do. It's like we're talking about with like when you watch too many intense shows and you need to go find a comedy.
Oh, definitely.
I read a ton, like kind of all like the real books I read are basically horror fiction, and so like every 2 or 3 of those, then I'll just read. I'll pick up like 4 bound volumes of like The Goon, or some like fun comic that I love, and it's a good way to kind of balance that out and kind of get back to I don't want to get like book burnout.
Exactly.
And so pick up
I've had that happen already a couple times, and it's not fun, because then all reading starts to end for a bit, because you don't even read the stuff you're supposed to be reading, because you got the book burnout.
Yeah, you just kind of don't want to pick up a book.
Yeah,
I'll always pick up a comic.
Oh man, that's a definite. That's always a thing. I'll read through a comic easily. I'm like, hey, look, what's this?
Yeah, I have one of those library apps. I guess it must be Hoopla or something, where there's a huge selection of graphic novels, and so you can just kind of flip through, and it's like, oh, like I never, and I kind of forget stuff I hadn't read. Like I hadn't read Paper Girls Volume 2, and it's like I love Paper Girls Volume 1, and I love all the something's killing the children collected editions.
Writing that.
Lewis,
Yeah,
Lewis is
those are fantastic. And and then sometimes it'll just be some weird thing. Like it's like, let's give it a try. It's on Hoopla. Like you can just there's no there's no risk.
Do you think like the theater of the mind, like you like reading the horror books more? Do you think that's because maybe you get to paint that own picture for yourself, and since you've got like a natural attraction to that, maybe it helps you come up with those worlds in your own head, and then it's when you get to see the pictures, it's kind of that cathartic release of like, well, I get to see what someone else maybe pictured in it later.
Yeah, it's definitely because obviously like I'm reading books that are substantially scarier than what I'm putting on my pages, but it's sort of like I'll also pick up like I actually read a lot of young adult horror, because there's a lot of great horror writing kind of going on in like the YA.
I agree.
Stephanie Meyer
area. Yeah. Oh, and what did I just read? Kendra Blake's new book. It's called All These Bodies. I think it's called something like that. But like she's a great book, and she wrote 2 books prior that they're both featuring a character, like a vengeful spirit named Anna, that are both phenomenal books, and they're YA, but it's like these are some of the best reads I've had in ages, because it just kind of it's for a YA attention span almost. And so it just like cuts through, and they're well written, well crafted, just super fun reads.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They're super fun reads. You know, sometimes your adults get a little heavy-handed with their stuff.
You can read Edgar Allan Poe stuff anytime, but sometimes.
Edgar Allan Poe is fun as heck. he's a blast, man.
I mean, I try to write in rhyme, and then I'll read The Raven, and it's one of those things again where I'm just like, I shouldn't write anymore. Like that,
dude, man.
It's just like
I learned a long time ago never to compare myself to The Raven.
No, I mean, it's just like nothing can compare to the you know, like just the way he can build suspense.
Oh my god!
And it just by repetitive rhyme and having multiple rhymes in a row and all these little tricks he's using, and it's just like career goals. Like if he could just do something close to that one day.
Exactly.
To be fair, you got to dance with madness to get to that level. So maybe it's good you haven't. Quite crossed that threshold.
Yeah, I don't know if it worked out so well for him back in the day, but
all the creative ones end up in that direction. So.
Yeah, like in Baltimore, right? You can see the alley he died in. Like, that's where they found him.
Dude, he died in his own mystery.
Like the Raven?
Yeah.
Wait,
what did you say? I'm sorry.
Do people genuinely like the Raven? Like, is this like actually an opinion, or is this just like something the consensus just agrees on?
No, I mean the Raven is a beautifully written and constructed poem.
I don't see the beauty in it.
Dude, it's lyrical. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It builds its suspense. It's one of those books that you sit there and going, whoa, because it feels like ahead of its time.
I got bored.
And it's also like, why did he write this? Like he's writing, in the literal sense, it's about a raven tormenting someone who's just lost his wife.
Exactly.
But again, it's like, is this like an opium dream he had? Like, or what? It's.
Never more.
To me, it just feels like it's the guy who was bored and just had a lot of free time and just started writing about the Raven he saw out the window.
Well, I think have you ever seen the Simpsons interpretation of it? It's from their first ever Halloween special. Yeah,
I know.
That's one of my favorite clips from that show ever. I love the Simpsons Halloween specials. But of all of them, I think that's one of like the top. That's got to be in my top 5. Like that is such a good segment. But yeah, I mean, you're right about this like tipping towards madness. I mean, Bram Stoker, same thing. Writes Dracula, and then towards the end of his career, wrote Lair of the White Worm, which I read because I love the movie. But God, like talk about a disjointed book. Like it was definitely like. Other influences had really soaked in by the time that one was penned. But it's and so like adult there's like adult horror like that, YA horror. I love reading like R.L. Stine books too. They're super fun.
Oh, they're great.
He's coming out with his first adult horror.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious to see how he translate that. Will translate that, or I'll pick up a Christopher Pike book even, or just kind of want to get as big of a blanket around general horror as I can. And like even to the extent of I have a collection of just kids horror books that I'll flip through.
Some of those are scary as anything, like those vampire story books. I mean, those still creep me out.
On Summerween, just the other night, our tradition is to read a spooky bedtime story, and I was reading one of the. How can I? The real famous one, Guillermo del Toro just did a movie. Was it Guillermo del Toro? It's not Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's
Tales that Tell in the Dark, or
no, it's the trilogy of. I cannot believe I cannot remember what this called. It's super famous. Like I'm trying to think too hard on it now.
Yeah. So now it's like.
Yeah.
That's that writer's brain.
Oh, I am just gonna kick myself.
But you know what? As soon as we finish the show,
Yeah, it's the one that has like the scarecrow, and then one of the stories is the toe.
Yeah.
Scary stories to tell in the dark.
Scary story. Yeah,
I think that's it. Yeah, and
yeah, those creep me out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
and I was
stuff
reading
bothers me.
and my younger girl was just looked at me and she's like, "Stop, like just stop." Like we're like this story needs to end right now. I was like, I can, like, I'll respect that. You know, so they can. And another great source of inspiration too is old like radio shows.
Oh, definitely. Or those radio drama plays. Oh my God.
Well,
Dude,
old time radio.
When I was
Great
younger,
stories there.
I would listen to The Shadow. You know,
Yeah,
and that
The
alone
Shadow.
would put you in a certain place.
The Shadow. Lights Out was a great series.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who hasn't heard the Orson Welles' War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, it's just that's like a master class in storytelling.
You can see why people believed it, because it sounds like something straight from the radio.
No, and actually, like a little segue story. I keep that downloaded on my phone just because I like it, you know. And our power went out for a couple of days, and we just had a radio on. And you know, my youngest was like 6, 7 at the time, and it was her bath time, and so I brought the radio downstairs, and you know, it was because she was kind of scared because the lights were out, you know, and she wanted the comfort of listening to something. So I'm in the bathroom with her. She's taking her bath, and I was like, I'm going to change the radio station. I'm going to put on an oldie station, because if you listen to War of the Worlds, it starts out and it's like
sounds like a radio.
Yeah, the Glenn Miller Orchestra, or you know, it's very, very old. And so I turned the radio off and then played the story, and I started watching her react as the story is unfolding, and it was just and it was such an interesting, almost experiment, because she wasn't getting scared at first. She's like, "What?" Like, you saw that confusion, and then you saw the realization, and then it was like, and the war machines are marching into New York, and her aunt lives in New York, and then she's like, "Oh my God," you know. And so I turned it off, and I showed her, and I told her, and like immediately, like, she thought it was the funniest thing that had ever happened. Like, she's like, "That's hilarious! Like, you got me, so good." But it was it was seeing that reaction that people in the 30s had. I mean, it was this didn't know better. You know, you hear it, so it must be real,
right? Because it sounds like regular. It starts, like you said, it starts off. It sounds like regular radio. We break into this, and you can see why people went crazy when this thing was on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little bit of myth busting here. No one actually went crazy when it was played on air. That was a marketing stunt done in Britain to help promote the show, which ended up becoming very successful, and even got published in the American newspaper for the local town, saying we were featured in an advertisement for a radio by assumably us freaking out, thus perpetuating the myth.
You're wrong, my friend, on this one.
You know,
Tyler?
No, I was going to say, it's funny.
Myth, okay.
Well, so they did a broadcast of it in Mexico, an unauthorized broadcast in the 40s, and it was so the guy who owned the radio station also owned the newspaper, and so for like the day before, he started planting stories in his newspapers about aliens and Martians, and then he did the War of the Worlds.
That's messed up.
And apparently, like, people, I mean, it was like people were falling on the ground confessing their sin. Like, the town panicked, and there's actually no known recording of this, because the town was so mad that they locked all the people at the radio station in that station and set the building on fire.
Damn.
Yeah. So there are it caused panics in 1968. WKBW in New York did another version of it, and then I guess the National Guard came out, and but you know, they said a record number of people called into police stations. So it's kind of a powerful thing, but it's also at a time when, like, that's what the radio was. I mean, when War of the Worlds came out in the 30s,
at that time, the radio was powerful.
Yeah. If a news person on the radio said it, it was true.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about a time that was just years after the Hindenburg, and that was kind of the first time we had that, like, the humanity, like an actual disaster, being told in real time.
It felt just like the the way the story was told, it felt just like the Hindenburg. Like it was the reporter actually seeing, oh my God, you see what's happening?
Yeah, and they get confused, and then it just goes silent for a minute, and it's stuff that I think people weren't
ready for.
They weren't accustomed to, because it was like, it was the Orson Welles hour. It was a radio show. It was all pre-scripted or music, or
is that where
news.
Oh the Humanity comes from?
That was Oh the Humanity's the Hindenburg.
The Hindenburg, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They used something similar in the whole War of the Worlds, but it's not All the Humanity.
Mm-mm.
Well,
I forget what it is.
I see we're at the 40 mark, which means we're like 30 minutes over what we're supposed to go, which means we were having a lot of fun, people. So Tyler, one last time, tell them where they can find you, tell them all the good stuff so they can get the book.
No, awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So the first book is Rest in Peace. This is book 1 of a 4-book series. This can be ordered right now. I have sort of across the board, Tyler Ham Books. That's what you can follow Tyler Ham Books on Twitter, on Instagram. Yeah. On Facebook. My website is just tylerham.com, which is up right now. All the links are there. You can ask your comic shops to order it through previews, or you can go, actually, at this point, this is kind of cool. You can just order Rest in Peace Tyler Ham, which is like, from my perspective, kind of like a morbid thing for me to type in. But like, if you type that into your browser, it'll like the Golden Apple comics will show up, things from Another World will show up, all of that stuff will show up. Hopefully, I will not be showing up there soon, but for now, I'd appreciate the type in and order, and yeah, and I'm available if anyone wants to talk about old time radio or how to draw skeletons with thumbprints. Reach out to me across any platform. I'm always up for a conversation.
Well, you're always welcome here on the show, because we had a great geek out and we covered a spectrum of things here today.
We really went from like A to Z.
Exactly. Dude, man, I'm gonna go listen to this again, because I'm gonna be like, okay, let's see, how do we end up over there?
I know, that's what happens when you let me talk. It just it is.
Well, it was entertaining, so I can't say it wasn't. You even had Nat talking.
It's just a stream of consciousness.
I love it, man.
Sensations.
So Shadow, Nat, anything you guys need to say before we go?
Hey, that was a lot of fun. It's awesome to meet you, Tyler.
Yeah, great meeting you too. Yeah, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Oh my God,
my cheeks are sore. Like,
oh yeah,
talk about laughing. Here. Like I haven't smiled and laughed this much in a while.
Hey, don't forget to tip your waitresses, and we'll be here same bat place, same bat time next week.
Nat?
All right.
Go ahead. Start.
Oh, you want me to do that? Okay. Apple Bites on Monday 7:30, and then join us next week for Writ, maybe at the new time. Are we doing the new time next week?
We're considering moving the show up to 10:30. So we'll see what happens.
So there you go. No conventions this week, so no place.
Oh no, yeah, this week you have.
Oh, no, Tropicon.
I was talking about ones we're going to.
Oh, well, we are going to Tropicon. We're going to Tropicon.
Oh,
we will be at Tropicon this weekend, one of the days, either Saturday or Sunday. Oh, if you guys are near Royal Collectibles, they're having a LotCon for their comic book store. So that's something to check out this weekend. If you're next to Royal Collectibles, if you are in Long Island, then check out Tropicon, and you might find yourselves an Appletini out there having fun.
Yeah, man, I very much want to be there. Obviously, it depends on how everything's going here, but I would love to hit Tropicon up.
I want to know what they did in order to claim it as an anime con. I'm not going to live that down.
Tropicon is a great con either way, so. But I want to be there and find that out too. All right, guys, this has been the Written Writ. I will do what I always do, but I will leave you with this. Make sure you check out all these Kickstarters. Support them, get them funded. Try to get as much money for them as possible. Like I said, these people do not make money off these Kickstarters. They're just trying to get their dreams out there, which is what we're all trying to do. So let's make this happen. Let's make these dreams come true. Let's all rise together. With that, I will say what I always say when I press the button. When it stops,